Hi, how are you today? Recently I got some requests to make a video for those who just started to learn how to color with Derwent Inktenses, and I'm quite happy to share my experience with these unique and absolutely amazing pencils. My first advice is make your color chart. I like to do color charts for all my pencils, but it's especially important for Inktenses. Of course, when you look at the pencil, the color on the tip of the pencil is quite similar to what your color will look after you activate it with water, but still we have a lot of similar colors. If you have a full 72 set, here we have, for example, yellowish and amber and light brown colors, and the only possibility to study your pencils is to make a full color chart, and I still use it sometimes even after my more than a year experience of using them. Now check your water brushes. If they leak too much, you will have problems with bleeding through when you work on thin paper, and also you will have difficulties with controlling color pigment and staying in lines when you activated your Inktenses with water. So just check how they work. Also you will need a paper towel or some tissue to wipe off excessive amount of water or to clear the tip of your brush. And now we are ready to start. Now let's talk about shading. The first way is to use just one pencil and to vary the pressure on it. Don't press too hard. Derwent Inktenses are very highly pigmented, so you don't need to press very high, and even the thin layer of pigment will give you quite a nice bright color after activating with water. So I will start with very light strokes. And now I press harder. And I always begin to activate from the lightest area to the darker. I push my pigment from the lightest area to the darkest. Now I just clean my brush. And here we have nice and smooth linear gradient. For the second way we will need at least two shades of each color. For example, here I have cherry and shiraz. This one is cherry and I mix it with shiraz. Again from the lightest to darkest. And in the mixing area, the main idea is to find your favorite color combinations in lighter and darker shades. For example, I like to use cherry and shiraz, poppy red and shiraz, fuchsia, and mauve, it's up to you to try all your available pencils in your set and to decide which pairs work the best. Again, I start from the lightest to darkest area, and then I again make some more strokes in the mixing area. There are colors which I don't like to mix. For example, if I use the apple green as the lightest color and I try to find the darker shade for it, if I try to use iron green, which is more the darkest color available in the set, it's more like bluish green, or I can use Ionian green. And I definitely prefer the second color combinations because here both colors are more yellowish green, and here one is a yellowish green and one is bluish green. So the mix isn't very natural and very soft. It could be nice for some effects, but still not my favorite combination. Here both colors are in warm shades and they create more natural shading. So study your set and find your favorite color combinations, or maybe you can watch coloring tutorials and notice which colors the artist used. There are some colors which I don't like to use in mixes. For example, when I use bark or dark chocolate, sometimes mixes became a little bit dirty, so you have to use it with caution and be careful with the amount of bark and dark chocolate. I use my Inktenses in two ways. The first one is traditional, when I color something with the pencil. Nice and dark navy blue color. And then I activate it with water. But sometimes we need more transparent and pastel colors in our painting. So the way is to get the pigment from the core of your pencil with the tip of your brush. The brush has to be quite wet. Now I just touch the corner of the pencil, and here we have very light, very soft colors. It's especially important if you don't have the full 72 set. In this way you could get more colors from one pencil you will have darker and lighter shade of the same color. It's very important to study the right pressure on your pencil. If you have the possibility to work on the professional watercolor paper, it won't be such an important thing. On professional watercolor paper, we have the possibility to put layer after layer activated with water and get the desired brightness. But as we work on the simple coloring book paper, we have the possibility to put one, maximum two layers if you still want the smooth color, and normally I put the first layer and activate it with water. Normally I made small circular movements with my water brush. Then I let it dry, if I am not satisfied with the brightness and darkness of my color, then I put the second layer. And you have to see from your own experience, do you need to activate the second layer with water? Still wet, but let's try. Sometimes I get darker color without activating. And sometimes if the shading isn't smooth, then I use a little bit of water for the better gradient. But you have to be careful when you put the second layer. So from my experience, 2 layers is the maximum. If you really don't want to get the bleeding through. Now let's talk about darker shades. My favorite pencils for the shading is dusky purple and dark purple. This experience I got from the great videos of Peter Hewitt. So let's try. For the lighter pencils like 10, I will use dusky purple to create nice dark shadows. I color the whole area with 10 and then I apply dusky purple. For the darker colors like willow, I use dark purple. It's very unusual for me to use purple colors for the shades, and I am very grateful to Peter Hewitt for showing this trick. It's really very useful, and here you can see that it helps to create a really nice dark shades. Very helpful in Magical City for coloring buildings. I really like how it looks. And for the green colors, here I have my Ionian green, for green colors I normally use iron blue or deep indigo. So very useful for leaves. And sometimes when it's still not enough contrast on my picture, after it completely dry, I just use my regular black, not very smooth pencil. Here I have my Faber-Castell Eco, very short pencil, and as a last step on my coloring, sometimes I used it to get the darkest color shades and to receive more contrast on my picture. As you probably know, the pigment of Derwent Inktense, one activated with water and then dried, became permanent and can't be activated with water again, and this feature helps us to create some interesting effects on our pages. For example, I can color here stripes, quite small stripes. If I want to color each teeny stripe and get a very precise picture, then I started with the first color. Then I activated it with water. I let it dry, and only after it dry completely I color the rest with the second color. So I have nice stripes. But sometimes I color in different way. Let's do it somewhere here. Alright. And yellow. And I activated both colors simultaneously, and in this way I can get a smooth gradient. Again, I push from the lighter to darker pigment, from the yellow to red. So I activated them both in the same time, and now I have the gradient line. It's very useful when I color leaves. Sometimes I want to create the sunshine highlights on the leaves, so I color it with the sherbet lemon. Then I activated it with water. I let it dry. Let's wait for a couple of moments. Now I color the rest of the leaf with the green, it's Ionian green. And the yellow stay bright and clear. Here, but sometimes I use it in another way. Again, it's sherbet lemon and Ionian green. And if I activate them simultaneously, I can start from the darkest color here, and it mix with my yellow and create nice and soft gradient. And more natural look. So it's for you to decide which one of the leaves do you prefer, do you want to put on your picture. And Inktense give you a very interesting possibility. You just have to study and to practice. And my last advice for today is not to forget your white pencil. For a long time I have neglected this pencil, and only recently I discovered that it's quite useful to draw something on the darker areas like rays of light or stars, or just to make your color softer, not so bright And again, it's especially important if you don't have the full set, then use your white pencil to soften your colors. And my last advice is practice and don't be afraid, because our coloring and our intenses are just for fun, and practice makes perfection. Thank you for watching this tutorial. I hope that it was helpful for somebody who just started to learn how to color with Inktenses. And I could recommend at least to try Inktenses for everybody, because they are quite unique, they are bright, cheerful and very economical, and they can create some effects on our coloring book which is very difficult to obtain with other brands of pencils. So enjoy your coloring, enjoy your Inktenses, and thanks again for watching. Until the next time, bye bye.